feels so hard to like yourself in this day and age.
But confidence is a skill, and you have to actually do the things when you're not ready. And surviving rejection, surviving someone not liking your art, surviving someone making a weird comment about your outfit, or walking into the office and someone says, oh, that's not like you, or like you want to take up a new hobby like running or yoga, or maybe you start meditating and you've got a mate who just thinks spirituality is so funny. Whatever it is, doing those things and surviving them and keep shining, keep expressing yourself, keep doing the things you love. That is what built confidence for me.
Feels so hard to like yourself in this day and age.
There's such a big answer to that question and so many things flying through my head. I want to touch on what you said about the rules. So I know the rules. I know that women are worth more than their bodies, and yet every time I look in the mirror, I still hate my belly and the fact that it rolls over my underwear. I still buy weighing scales in January. I still do this, I still do this. And that is how I lived for a very long time, was knowing all of the right theory, all the mindfulness, all the things, all the feminist theory about how women are worth more than what they look like. I knew it in my head, but I did not embody it. And that's what actually, like, living deliciously and creating a life that prioritizes my experience through my body. I didn't even intend for that to be the thing that made me fall in love with my body as this gift. I thought it was going to be, one more feminist book, one more this, one more that, one more self-help book. But it wasn't one more book telling me to love my body. And those are so fucking valuable and they should be written. But there's that other part of embodying that practice. And living deliciously, for me, I didn't even realize until I finished the book, it's the opposite of self-objectification, because you're not living a life where you're watching yourself from the outside of how do I look while I meditate in a yoga class still sucking in my stomach? What do I look like while I do this thing? It's thinking, how do I feel? It's literally almost like placing the locus of control inside of you. Even with, in the book I talk about romanticising your life and creating a life that makes you, that feels visually beautiful to you. I wanted to write about that because I think we think it's so frivolous and it almost sounds silly, especially as a feminist, to like write a book about pretty little things and how they make you happy. But the practice of creating a life that brings you joy and visually inspires you, it's like you're focusing less on how you look and how the world around you looks instead. And so inadvertently, not thinking about how my life looks, but prioritizing my experience of it, like even just taking a breath and tuning into my senses allowed me to experience the gift of having a body, the gift of having a body that allows me to taste delicious food, have a conversation with interesting women like you. That's what our bodies are here for. And I just thought about all the times where I've been on the beach or like not been on the beach because I was so anxious about letting my stomach rolls hang over my stomach.
We ruin everything for ourselves.
And that's your life. And in terms of people pleasing as well, like there are dates I've been on that I didn't even want to go on because I was afraid of cancelling, because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. That's my life. That's my life. That is a day of my life that I will never get back because I wanted to control how I was perceived and I didn't want someone to think I was a bitch. I didn't want someone to think I was selfish. And so, to go back to your point, how do you get from that afraid 14-year-old girl in school to this woman who now can confidently talk about the stuff and love her life more? It is through doing those experiences anyway. That's how I gain respect for myself. And I think when we think of confidence, I'll speak for myself, I definitely thought of confidence as something that you were either born with or something you weren't. I would watch other women. I couldn't speak like this a few years ago. I could only talk to my phone like this. But now it's like a series of steps of pushing through the voice of fear and doing it anyway. And when you do those small little scary things, that is what builds the confidence required. It's the other way around. So I thought you either had it or you didn't. But confidence is a skill and you have to actually do the things when you're not ready. And surviving rejection, surviving someone not liking your art, surviving someone making a weird comment about your outfit, or walking into the office and someone says, oh, that's not like you, or like you want to take up a new hobby like running or yoga, or maybe you start meditating and you've got a mate who just thinks spirituality is so funny. Whatever it is, doing those things and surviving them and keep shining, keep expressing yourself, keep doing the things you love. That is what built confidence for me. It's a self-trust. Even coming into this interview today, Before I ever do an interview, I'm like, oh my God, what if they ask this? What if this happens? And that voice of fear goes nuts in my head. And then I reminded myself, oh, but I can trust me. Home is in me. I can trust Floss. And that's because I've done scary things before. And so I think fake it till you make it it's great advice. And if you don't ever do anything brave that scares the shit out of you a little bit, there's always going to be a voice in your head that has a track record of you always backing out when it gets scary. So you have to actually do the things that scare you a little bit. And when anyone listening to this who's like, well, that's just fucking frightening. I can't public speak. I can't even go on a date. It scares the shit out of me. It's baby steps. It's tiny. It could literally be my first thing at 14, when I was reading the mindfulness book, was going to walk in the middle of a sunny field and laying in the field. It was really embarrassing to me to be seen as like, I don't know, it's this thing I think we culturally think it's quite cringy for people to just enjoy their lives and like embrace like
just
this
lie in a
enthusiasm,
field.
right? And this voice of fear was in my head, and it was like, what if the girls from school walk past? Those dog walkers over there are going to fucking laugh at you. And that mindfulness bit, again, it came in as like the second voice that was like, you have to do things outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you won't live your life. You will live a life tethered by what other people may or may not think of you, like puppeteered. And so just snipping those and going into walk in the middle of the field, it sounds tiny, but it was the bravest thing I ever did because I ignored that voice of fear. And that is how I have gone from being anxious and scared to walk into school every day. I even feel that like that voice doesn't go anywhere. You know, I think that voice that was in my head, afraid of going to see the girls at school who used to be my friends, doesn't go anywhere. I can still walk past a group of girls innocently laughing in the middle of Oxford Street, right, where I was on my way today, and there's still a voice in my head that goes, they're laughing at you. That doesn't go anywhere. You just get better at ignoring it and not endorsing it as true.
I think that's the key, because so many of us will have had a certain narrative almost put upon us, whether we like it or not, whether it's one person in our lives. It could have been one of our parents or a teacher at school or someone that felt authoritative in their opinion, where they've said, oh, you're this, or you're not good at this, or why do you always do this? And those voices, they do stick around. And I think it takes a hell of a lot to overcome that and to think, no, like you say, I can trust myself. If someone said, oh, you know, you're a big mouth or whatever is, that you've got to write that yourself. And I think our inclination is we think that someone else will do that for us. Someone will write it for us by saying, oh, no, you're not. You're this, you're amazing, you're that. But actually that won't touch the sides. We've got to do that. And it's a bizarre, intangible thing that we can't grasp because we've just got to do it in our heads and go, no, I'm not going to listen to that voice. I'm going to still do the scary thing or just be me, which seems to be terrifying.
It is. It's so terrifying. And I was going to ask you, have you found that, you know, you said it's this intangible thing in your head, these voices. I call them the inner council. Like they're just this inner council of people shouting at you. Every time I post online, it will be like, what will this person think? What will this person think? And it's the inner council of voices in my head trying to keep me small.
Julia Samuel calls it the shitty committee.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
So good.
Yeah, the shitty... Okay. Thanks, Julia Samuels. The shitty committee, okay?
So good.
You know, you just said it's intangible in your head. Have you found, because I'm sure you've had some success, right, with overcoming that voice? You must have to even do your own podcast. I know that you left some big parts of the industry to do this.
Yeah.
Did you feel that actually almost imagining it as stepping into a new pathway helped? Because that's what helps me. I imagine it like if this is the way I've always been going, and it's intangible because you can't literally walk down a new road, you have to mentally walk down a new road.